Okay, friends, let's get this show on the road. I think I fixed the technical difficulties. I appreciate those that hung on, and if you're joining the live stream again, if not, you can catch this on the replay once it gets posted. Howdy, 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 friends. This is Paul, your storyboard artist. Right now we had a live stream set up for earlier. I had some technical difficulties, and let's get the show on the road. We got everything up and running again. Just to give you a recap, we'll start from scratch here again. I was hoping to do this live stream in Las Vegas, and unfortunately had some issues doing the stream from Vegas, and that's sort of the theme that I chose for this particular live stream today. But the topic today, we're going to be talking about your basic camera shots for storyboarding. These would be storyboards for either feature film, a streaming series, a video game, commercial, music video, animated show. We met last week and we went over the basics of how to knock out quick thumbnails to get you started to go into your roughs and to talk about storyboarding. I showed some cheats of what we could be doing to get going on that. Today we're going to be focusing, like I said, on the basics of the basic camera shots. When you have a camera, and it's sort of great to visualize, here's my DSLR, and so what we're doing is we're drawing the images that the camera would be shooting. This would be the director of photography working with the director, and these are the shots that we would be going on. But the whole point is when I'm drawing these shots, these are going to be what is expected through the camera and what the audience is going to see. So it's that communication of the storyboard as I'm putting these storyboards together. I'm going to try to keep it a little simple here in terms of what we're doing. I'm excited about storyboards, and I hope you are too. What's fantastic about it is when you're working with your director or your client, or you're working with around the script. My buddy Eric Yamamoto, he created a great series on how to go from script into your thumbnails, into your roughs, into your animatic a little bit, and did a great job with that. You know, one of the things that I'm looking at when I'm creating these videos is how can I simplify this process down for you on right now for the art side. And I think there's some simple camera shots that all storyboard artists need to know, and you could use this to translate to storyboards. You can use this to translate to possibly comics or other visual storytelling methodologies or products that you're trying to create. A lot of these have their common knowledge with cameras and setting up those systems, whether it be a still photo or a video or a film. There's a lot of messaging you want to convey through these shots. You can bring in emotion. You can bring in area of detail. You're trying to tell that story within these images that you're creating. It's interesting when you're creating these images, because when you're creating for a film, you're going. You're making a film, and the film is composed of a bunch of different sequences, and breaks down into a scene, breaks down into the shots that make up that scene. There's a lot of things going on, and you're going shot to shot to shot, and that is the communication device to working with the director. Going off of the script, you're giving that communication to the rest of the team on the crew. It takes one whole crew for example, to make a film. So this is that communication blueprint. Usually do a lot of storyboarding when it's a super detailed scene that you want to have a lot of direction on, where there's a lot of moving parts, where it's a big action sequence or a big visual effects sequence where you're going to add a lot of words to that sequence, and you rough it all out on digitally or on paper, and you're working through those sequences and scenes to convey and figure out your budgets and what's possible, what's not possible. A little bit different than animation storyboards. Animation storyboards, you're almost doing the in-between of these shots, and they're a little bit more animated, depending on the production and for what you're doing there. So there's some differences between the different storyboard styles and types. But let's talk about the basic camera shots. We're not going to be talking about movement of the camera. We're not going to be talking about the angle, whether it be a pan or a tilt or whatever it is. We're not going to be talking about lenses. We might throw a couple things in here. What am I talking about? Focal lengths, depth of field, those type of attributes. So, but right now we're just focusing on the basics. We'll talk about those other things as we go forward in our live streams to be able to share that information and how it's going. Before you get into any story, you got to sort of set it up, right? And kicking off our shots of our shot list is going to be the extreme wide shot. Extreme wide shot is super epic. It's going to be grandiose. You're thinking of these huge, environments that you're going to be sharing. Usually, is an extreme wide shot when you're trying to introduce a new world, something like Lord of the Rings, or you're trying to introduce the Matrix and the technology there, or an extreme wide shot if you're trying to set up a sequence in the jungle for Raiders of the Lost Ark, or whatever it might be. But this shot is an expansive shot. And we can talk about composition later and the emotions with composition and those type of items. But let's just talk about our Vegas scenario. Like I said, I was just in Vegas this last week. I was trying to do the live stream, but I sort of had a lot of different ideas of what we could play around with Vegas. When I think of Vegas, I'm thinking of Elvis Presley. I'm thinking of the Rat Pack. I'm thinking of Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Wayne Newton. I'm thinking of Siegfried and Roy and Liberace playing on the piano, Don Rickles busting up everybody at the comedy shows, the showgirls, the glamour, the lights, and also the other sides, the gambling, the money, the poker tables, all sorts of great sequences from like Casino Royale with Daniel Craig, as James Bond and playing in those tables. I know it's not Vegas, but I'm thinking about all those different shots, in terms of Vegas. You have the Hangover movies. You have so many movies that have been shot in Vegas. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Johnny Depp. There's just so many Vegas movies. So, but one of the things you want to do is set up that shot. You got to introduce our audience to Vegas. So let's go ahead and talk about that extreme wide shot. So let me go into Photoshop here. Let's get this rolling. So here's our shot. Let me sort of throw some color up here so we can sort of focus on that shot. See how our brush tool is working here. So the first shot, like I said, we're talking about is extreme wide shot. It's a little large. Let's get that down a little bit. So we have our extreme wide shot, right? We want to introduce everybody to the environment of what we're trying to do and how we're doing it. Okay, so let's go back into changing our cursor back over. I sort of have some basic sketches here. I'm thinking of Las Vegas. There's lots of lights, those type of things. So let's go ahead and sort of get a horizon line in here a little bit in terms of what we're doing. I think about the strip, of Vegas. Since being there, you had the Eiffel Tower in there from Paris. So let's put that in there real quick. That was in there. You know, you had your Paris idea there. We had all sorts of different buildings of Vegas, but all we're doing is laying down those basic things of Vegas. You know, you had, you're looking down over here, you have the hotels for what you're doing, all the gear up on the hotels, lighting. You had, I think if I can remember, you had all the fountains from the Bellagio. Those were famous from all the Ocean's movies. You know, so I'm just thinking in boxes right now, and we can sort of play around with that a little bit and just sort of create these boxes here of the environments in terms of what we're trying to do here. Just trying to create that environment real quick. So we'll just create that here. There's so much to it. And we're just creating this environment, but this is trying to work as quickly as we can. This is that extreme wide shot we were just talking about. We got everything going. Maybe we'll just do a little bit of gray back here, 50% gray. Let's take a look at that and see how that looks. In terms of what we're doing. Let's get that done real quick. This is our Vegas here. Maybe we have some of the water here. The other thing we can do too is just add all the lights. So there's lights everywhere. In Vegas, you have all the lighting. If we were doing a color board, we could do something like that. Let's add, go back to our lines here. Go back to this. Let's get that smaller, get all the hotels all lined up. You have all that glimmer and glam of everything. But here's our Las Vegas. You know, that's a sequence there, or a shot we put together real quick. Another thing we can do too is I was thinking of Martin Scorsese. I was thinking of De Niro and out in the desert, you know, because we have a lot of desert in Vegas. It's all pretty much desert, and the mobsters and those guys were out there in the desert up to no good. So if I was doing a sequence like that, you know, I'm just sort of thinking here, let's get this down a little bit. Just a quick thumbnail, get my horizon line. You know, you have all your, you know, your mountains and stuff, and maybe, you know, you have your characters right here. You have that silhouette here. Out here, he's got his shadow. You know, don't know if it's his car is there too, in terms of what we're doing. We're driving it out, same type of thing. Get some grays in there. And these are just thumbnails, nothing fancy. We're just trying to get some basics of here. You know, I believe this is one of the shots. You know, we sort of got the car there. Whatever it might be, but it's right there. Oops. I'm not looking for detail. I'm not looking for anything like that. I'm just trying to get the story told in terms of what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to figure out what are those sequences, what's going on. Is you show the loneliness in this extreme wide shot. You're just trying to tell the basics here. We're not looking for fancy drawings. I'm just trying to figure those things out of what we're trying to do. And use this as sort of my first tool as I'm storyboarding a sequence or whatever I might be doing. Okay, so let's go back up to the top again, and we're gonna, so we just got done doing the establishing shot. The next shot we're going to talk about is just the wide shot. Wide shot is still a great shot. It's a storytelling shot. We just want to say wide shot on this one. In terms of what we're doing, you know, this is still communicating. The other one is just sort of an extreme wide shot is that epic movie. Wide shot is still there. You have your wide shot or your long shot in terms of trying to tell the story, trying to introduce you to when you start off in a new scene. What's the establishing shot? What you're doing is you're going in from there. You establish and then you start going in. So think about it as the lens. The lens is shooting from far away, and as I get closer, so I'm way far away back here, and as I get closer and closer and closer into the camera, and we'll be talking about those shots, but that's what you're trying to do. So let's continue going here. Keeping things going. Let me just make sure everything's up and running here. Looks like everything's live and everything's rolling. We're doing pretty good. Okay, so the next shot is going to be, like I said, our wide shot. And here, let's get our establishing shot there. With this one, I'd already started working on it a little bit, but here we wanted to say, welcome. This is that nice welcome sign when you're coming to Fab. Less. And then sort of that Las Vegas. That big sign. So we're establishing we're coming into Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, and then sort of have here I know this sign has been used all the time. You got another James Bond movie, Diamonds Are Forever, with Sean Connery. That took place, and there's a fantastic car sequence, chase sequence, that was very popular in that movie. Got some palm trees in here. Got the star in here too. And you get all sorts of palm trees. So, lots of palm trees. In Las Vegas, we're setting up. Where are we? Where are we trying to go? And the viewer will know we're in Las Vegas. And then, like I said, these are just basic scratches, scribbles. We're just getting going on here in terms of what we're doing. You can add a little bit thicker lines in there just to get this thing done. Get this done. In terms of how we're doing it here. But all we're trying to do is keep it simple. We're just trying to tell the story. Hey, where's this stuff? Where are we at? Are we in palm trees? You know, that gives that away. And in terms of what we're doing here, that gives you some stuff. And if you wanted to add a little color, add a little bit of gray in there, we can do that too, just to get some more beefy color. Remember that Vegas had all the mountains, so we could add some of the mountains. And here you go, here's a shot. Welcome to fabulous Las Vegas. So these two shots here that we're looking at, okay, here's an extreme wide shot of Vegas. Here's a wide shot of Las Vegas, and these shots are meant to where are we geographically to the audience? What's the weather like? What time of day is it? Is it nighttime? Is it daytime? What is the setup of this particular shot? What are we trying to do? Tell me the story. You're introducing me to the story. It's sort of like the first page of a comic, the splash page. Boom! I'm in this story. Here we go. We know the story is taking place in Vegas, and then there's all different story components we can do when we're creating these shots. Okay. Boom. Okay. So let's go into a little bit more of our shots here. The next shot I'm going to talk about, we talked about the extreme wide shot, the wide shot. Now we're going to be talking the full shot. Full shot is like setting up the characters. I want to see who the characters are. What's sort of the full shot? The full shot will be, you know, if I'm in terms of, let's get some color in here. Oh, let's write down full shot. And full shots. Get this cut back down again for a point. So let's talk about the full shot. Whoops. Keep putting this on the wrong layers. Full shot. Okay, so we got the full shot. Okay, so the full shot, we were talking about bodies, and the full shot is going to be from the head of the person, you know, down to their toes. So we were talking about those simple figures yesterday, or last week when we were talking. That's what we're sort of talking about here. We're looking at that head to the feet. We should be able to see. We should be able to see all those things for the full shot. That's right here. Okay, so what's going to be our full shot here? So what is Vegas known for? Vegas is known for so many different things, but let's go ahead. I already had started her a little bit here, but you know, Vegas is known for the showgirls and all the big opulent shows that you have. So let's go ahead and let's draw that showgirl on there. In terms of what we're doing here. So we're just going to keep that real simple. We're just going to go get her drawn in here. Always drawing big earrings all the time. Let's get her going. She has these opulent gowns. We're going to put on her. But that's what we want to see. We want to see remember, I'm not looking for exact, I'm just trying to get this done. And we have this the showgirl, and then we're going to have her fancy dress. Here. It's all opulent. And we have all the feathers. There are a lot of folks here in Vegas this last weekend. A lot of folks trying to do pictures and all sorts of stuff. You had a lot of people in the street dressed up as showgirls, trying to make a dollar. But we sort of have that, and that's sort of the head to toe of what we're doing. We can grab this character, stretch her out a little bit. Not worried about perspective, I'm just trying to tell the story real quick. What is she doing? Where is she going? In terms of what we're doing, let's try that one more time. How we're doing. Okay, so we have our showgirl here. Let's grab her real quick. We want to go head to toe, so we see that character from head to toe, just like we were talking about before in that shot with the camera shots. Let's get a little blue here, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking for, you know, we want to see on a full shot, we want to see the head to the toe. We want to see that whole body. So on that full shot, okay? And that's what we're trying to do. That's what we want to see, exactly how we were showing over here. And then you can set up your shot from there. And if you needed to, you can sit there and you can have some fun with it. And there's always more than one showgirl. And for sake of time, you can get all these different showgirls, and you could play around with their sizing. In terms of what you're trying to do. Here, we can grab this one here. You could have all the showgirls doing their dancing or however you're doing it. You can change them all up. You can have some fun with it. Let's merge these down real quick. So like I said, we got all the showgirls on there. You can set up some other things with this particular shot. You can give them their stage or what they're trying to do here. So give it a little bit of grayscale like we were talking about before. And just sort of get that stage set up for yourself. Got your curtains. Set pieces, whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be complicated. All we're trying to do is set up, teach you about the full shot, what's going on, how do we make that work in terms of how we're doing it. So it makes it pretty fun there to have some fun with it. We have our showgirls here. Looking good. So that was what we call a full shot. We're able to see the whole body and what we're trying to do and keep that going. Okay. The other thing too, let's go into the next shot. This would be a medium full shot, and with the medium full shot is we would see that shot with the showgirl. Let's grab one of those showgirls. And a medium full shot is going to be from the knees up, where here for the full shot you have from the top of the head to the feet. You're gonna go from pretty much the knees. So let's just grab one of these images here on the showgirls here. Let's copy her. Let's paste her down. Zoom out a little bit. Get a free shot here. Oops. And let's work on her a little bit here too. So let's say we had that showgirl right here. And let's make her a little bit bigger. Grab her here. So we're going to go from these knees. We're just going to lift her up. Oops, a little too big. So here's that medium full shot. Okay, so we have her there. Let's go ahead and put in some red for that. And we're just going to say right here. Oops. Like I said, medium full shot, let's just say it's usually the top of the head, which is her right there. Let's use that feathered headdress there, and it's going to go right to those knees, right to the knees. So from the head to the knees is that medium full shot, is what we're trying to do there. And that's all we're trying to do. So we have the lines here. Go back to the lines, see if I can erase this. But that's what we're trying to do with that particular shot within our picture frame for what we're doing there. So let's go back over here. So right now we've discussed the wide shot, or excuse me, extreme wide shot, full shot, the medium full shot from the heads to the knees. And then we're going to get on to our next shot. But if this is bringing you any type of value at all, I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and if you take a moment, I really appreciate that. That lets me know you're watching and you'd like to see more. Please give it a like, and please leave me a comment on other topics that you like to cover within the realms of storyboarding and art abilities within that, and trying the storyboards out. I love to answer your questions, so shoot them on there, or check for me on Instagram under Mr. Paul Angeli, and you can DM me over there too. I invite you to subscribe both to me on YouTube and Instagram, and I appreciate those that have done so thus far. So thank you so much. It's tough being a new channel and you're trying to get things rolling and going. So, but I really appreciate you. Okay, let's continue on. Let's go back to our camera shots here and talk about our next shot. Okay, and medium full shot. Okay, so next shot we're going to talk about is a full shot. Full shot, or you know, this would be another name for it is called a cowboy shot. Usually in westerns, you wanted to see the cowboy's gun belt, and let's write that down first. Camera shots, let's do that first. So we're going to call this just our full shot. AKA cowboy shot. And with this particular shot is you're trying to, just quickly, we have our cowboy here, and we're trying to get a hat on him real quick, get him going. But the whole point of him is that you would see his chest, you would see, and then you'd see that gun belt. You wanted to see that gun in terms of what you're trying to do. So if he was to do a draw, whether it be the Magnificent Seven, the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Sergio Leone, whatever it might be, you want to see that gun belt. That's what you want to see. When you see things like that, it's going to show action. Somebody's going to be shooting it up. A lot of your action movies will have this cowboy shot or the full shot showing that. And it's awesome to see, but you know what you're set up for. We're sort of trained here. So you're thinking of Sheriff Matthew Dillon or whoever it might be, Gunsmoke, Bonanza, all sorts of shows, films. You want to see that because you know that that cowboy is going to be in there somewhere ready to shoot and ready to go to a gun battle. You know, if you're thinking, you sit back and you look at a lot of John Wick films and things like that. John Wick, Keanu Reeves is grabbing those guns from everywhere. You're going to either hold a rifle, a shotgun, handguns, knives. You know something's going on, and you'll see those shots, or you'll see more of a full shot because you want to see his whole body. They do. We can go into martial arts and cinematography for martial arts in a whole different way. You know, you see something like a Jackie Chan movie, which I'm a big fan, you know, or Bruce Lee or whatever, fighting Chuck Norris in Italy in the Colosseum. But you'll see the full shot, and you'll see all the action. And a lot of the films today are cut, you know, in terms of to give you the emphasis. And some of these masters from a lot of these martial arts films do these extended, long shots, and you see the battle and the turning of you know, the power struggle between the fighters. And you know, I think John Wick right now is doing a lot of those sequences, those sort of those long full shots where you see all the bodies, you see everybody, and everybody is going at it for what we're doing. So let's continue on with the full shot with our Vegas scenario here. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. We already talked about it. And let's go ahead and let's talk about our showgirl sort of scenario here. So let's look at those gals here. So we have our showgirls here. Let's draw this out real quick. That would be here. This might be a different showgirl here. Have some fun with this. This is just the full shot that we're talking about. Say she has all the feathers coming off, the headdress coming off there. And this would be from, like I said, just like the cowboy shot, it would be from the hips up. So a little bit of black in there. Just having some fun with this. Make it up a little too detailed, but we gotta have fun. Big earrings on there. Have our showgirl going on here. I like that. Get some grayscale in there. But you can see how easy it is. What we're trying to do here. Got the theater production here. In terms of what we're trying to do. And just make her pop out there. So here's our full shot of what we're trying to do. Like I said, the full shot, aka the cowboy shot. That's what we have going on here. Let me take 2 seconds here. Let's see if we have any friends asking questions real quick. Awesome. Ronnie, how you doing? I'm glad you were able to join up in the chat. Thank you so much. I'm having a difficult time. I had a difficult time earlier, but I'm glad you got to join the chat here and the live stream. Hey, let me know if everything's working out and you can see everything and hear me okay, and that you're having a good time here. With that said, let's continue on with our shots. Those basic shots of what we're trying to do, okay? So the next shot we're going to be talking about, let's see where I'm at right now. And with our Vegas inspired theme is we are going to, okay, thanks Ronnie, I appreciate that. Next shot we're going to be doing, camera shots, get some red back here again. Okay, next shot we're going to do is the medium close-up. And as you see, the camera, we're looking through the camera, we're going in with that shot. So right now we have the medium close-up shot. So let's write that down. Oops. Keep doing that each time. Medium close-up. So this is our medium close-up, and what we want to see here, so if I have a, let's get that gray line back in there, really light so we can see that. So if I'm looking at the head, and I'm here, and I have the woman's chest, I'm going from the chest, get the red back again. What I'm doing is I'm going from the top of the head to the chest. So it's a little bit higher, and that's what I want to say. And that's our medium close-up shot. And that's what we're trying to do here. I'm going to grab this. Oops. See if I can move this off screen a little bit. Come on, you. Okay, let's move that off screen. Okay, so with our showgirls, we'll use that example here. I'd already started on a showgirl here. And so with that said, let's go ahead and finish her up. And like we said, we go with the chest. In terms of what we're doing, she's right here. Got her shoulders here. A little bit of chest here, her neck, and right here we're going to give her that headdress here, some big earrings, and as we get closer we're going to get just a tad more detail about these characters. Sort of what they're doing. What are they up to? What are they thinking? You start to see a little bit more. Okay, so she has her hair here. We'll have some fun with that. Maybe she has her hair. But the main thing right now is get those feathers and all that stuff on there. She has her bouffant feathered tail going on. Then I'm going to go, let's get some eyes going on here. So we can have some fun. Okay. So we have our showgirl, remember, from the chest to the top of the head. Get a little bit more black here. There she is there. Like I said, she has that headdress here. She has all those crazy feathers. Let's get some tail on there. We're getting more detail on her in terms of what we're doing. And then maybe we'll add a little bit of white because now we're going to see a little bit more detail on this character that's right here with our showgirl. And let's say, okay, so we're still having fun here. Let's get to that gray again. It's bumped up a little bit. We got the stage. Maybe we have some other showgirls in the back. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, Ronnie was asking, what is it we're doing? We're talking right now is we're drawing out all the basic cinematic shots a storyboard artist will need to know how to do and how to create. And sort of what we're doing is we're talking about those shots, how to create those shots, what are those shots that we're doing, how do we create those shots, and what is the shot useful for? And like we were already talking about before, we're talking about the establishing shot or the extreme wide shot that establishes your environment and geography of the sequence that you're creating. Then you go into a wide shot. A wide shot can also do the same thing. We were talking about something, an extreme wide shot is something where you're like Blade Runner or something like that, where you have to introduce the audience into a new environment that they have no knowledge of. Where if we're going to Vegas, I don't really necessarily need an extreme wide shot. I can just go with a wide shot. I know I'm in Vegas. I know Vegas is desert, palm trees, and casinos. And then continuing on going, we then talked about a full, a full shot, which has the whole body from head to toe. We talked about the cowboy shot, going from the hips to the top of the head. In terms of what we were talking about, we talked about the medium full shot that goes from the kneecap up to the head. And then we just got done talking about the medium close-up shot. And the reason why we're talking about all these different shots are these are the basic panels that you need to know how to draw. And then what you'll do is, I'm not really storytelling here, I'm sort of just showing what those particular shots are, and then you could start formulating your sequences when you're building your scene for what you're trying to do, or your sequence that you're storyboarding out. So you'd use these typical things for that. You'd also, you could be referring to if the director already sat down with you and created a shot list, and you already created that shot list, and these are the shots that would be created off a shot list. A shot list is a typed scenario of all the different shots that the director wants to shoot with the talent and those type of things. So I'm going to continue going on, and the next shot we're going to be talking about is the close-up. The close-up shot is I think between the medium shot is pretty much, those are the two top shots. Medium shot is there's nothing really going on. You're not trying to communicate. Everything is sort of neutral. You're not trying to create any type of suspense or anything like that. It's just sort of the middle of the road. The close-up shot, I know Hitchcock used close-ups all the time. That is like the window into the soul of the character as we're going closer and closer. So we started from an establishing shot, and we're using that camera, and we're going in, and as you take steps into each of these different shots, it's going to relay a different emotion, a different dramatic beat, an emotional point, trying to push the story along. We're doing a lot of work here, and I hope everybody's enjoying themselves of what we're doing. Okay, and I hope that answered the question too, Ronnie. Okay, so let's continue on. Get this reset back again. Now we're going to be going really, really close now in terms of what we're doing. And this, like I said, this is going to be our close-up shot. So let's get that over here. And say close-up. And this is our close-up shot. So the close-up shot should be the head of the character and their neck. So it starts from the neck to the top of head. And that's what we're looking at. That's what the close-up shot is going to be. It's going to be that emotion. Is the character sad, happy, conniving? A lot of directors just like having that shot there so they can see a blink or some sort of emotion. You're getting closer and closer to the subject, in terms of the character, and the actor can really do a lot of emotional things as you get closer. You don't get to see it so when you're further away, and that's a great thing to do, is to have these type of shots to convey emotion. If you watch a lot of movies on how many different close-ups are literally right there to convey. Watch your favorite movies. If you're a story artist, you're going to be watching a ton of films, and you'll see this happen. Watch Hitchcock and Psycho, and watch as the character, emit emotion, or whether it be the main character, the psycho character, or Janet Leigh as she comes in and is in the shower scene. If you look at those films, you'll see a lot of that at work. But let's talk about this particular, what we're doing here, and let's continue with that showgirl sort of character for what we're trying to do here. Let's get her going here in terms of what we're doing. There's a lot more storytelling that we can do when we get closer into the feeling of this particular character. Maybe it's a shock. This is where your drawing of emotions will really help out in terms of what you're doing. You're going to see a lot more detail as you come closer and closer into the shots in terms of what we're doing here. And let's get that cap in there. Just drawing real quick here. Let's get these feathers going. Okay, let's get some thicker lines in there just to And as you see, we're getting closer and closer. Things are more in detail, and let's go to the gray. We're not doing a whole ton of stuff here. We're just adding those details. of what we're doing. Okay, back it out a little bit. There's the stage back here. She's right there. And you know, you could add some detail. Let's just say, let's go back. Let's just say she's crying. We're trying to evoke that emotion that she's crying in that shot. So maybe we're have her eyes here. Maybe her mascara is starting to go down her eyes. You know, she's sad, something's wrong, she's looking off into the distance, and that's what we're trying to convey with that close-up shot. So as we can see, it's different than the medium shot. We're getting into the emotion of that particular character. So maybe she's dancing, da-da-da, put it on the show, and maybe she saw somebody in the audience, and, you know, she has time to think, or maybe there's somebody that's after her in the audience. We don't know what's going on. So, but that's what we're doing. We're evoking into that emotion there. Okay. So friends, we've been going through a lot of storyboards right now in a short amount of time here. So I appreciate everybody who is currently watching. Please don't forget to tell me that you like what we're doing here. This is a new YouTube channel. I'm just sort of having fun with this, getting to meet friends out there through my Instagram channel that are coming over here to YouTube, and we can sort of talk about these different aspects of what we're doing, and teaching you some of the basics of what I do as a story artist and storyboard artist, and see if this can be of any help to you. And I have fun doing it too. It's great to get me out there and talking, so I appreciate everybody. Ronnie just asked a quick question. What is the program you primarily use for work, and what would you recommend for storyboarding? Ronnie, I talked about this last week as well, and I think it is important for a couple different things that you could be doing. For me, I would say, I don't know if a lot of my work I have online is, I try to do as much as I can with just a pen. You know, everybody's asking me, what tools do you use, Paul? When I'm sitting there and storyboarding, these are just pretty much, I would say these are a little bit better than thumbnails, but to me, I would consider these roughs. They're not my final output of what I'm trying to do, because I'm trying to create all these storyboards as fast as I can. So some will have a little bit of detail, but it's sort of the language that I have, and I understand what I'm doing. But I would say have your sketchbook with you at all times, you know. I have my sketchbooks that I draw in, like even when I went to Vegas this last week, I had my sketchbook with me, and some of the sketches that I posted on my Instagram feed were just out of my sketchbook. I was sitting there at the airport, I was sitting in my hotel room, I'm taking in the sights, I'm taking pictures, I'm looking at stuff, and I'm just using simple things. I'm using Sharpies, I'm using, I have a Papermate Flare pen. Somebody was asking me, I'll use a pencil. It doesn't really matter. As I'm drawing, I primarily use Photoshop. I used to teach in California at one of the local universities over there. I used to teach Photoshop as an instructor. I taught a lot of, you know, different ways to use Photoshop. So I know that's my comfort zone, is using Photoshop. You know, Storyboard Pro. There's all different tools out there. Some of them I use. It all depends on the situation. It depends on what the client or what the studio is asking me to use, and that'll be the tool that I'll use. but all the fundamentals of the basics of drawing, basics of storytelling, what we're focusing on, the tool doesn't matter. A pencil is no matter than a digital tool. Yeah, the digital tool, I can add a blur effect if I'm trying to do a rack focus. There's all different things you can do with the digital tools. Like I use a Cintiq tablet that's in front of me that I'm drawing on. I have the big Cintiq if I need to work on that. So I have both my in-studio stuff, my travel stuff. One thing I haven't gotten into is using an iPad with Procreate yet. That's something down the road I will. And as I go through these live sessions, I'll probably bust out different tools if that'll be helpful to you. But you know, nothing beats a piece of paper and pen and to draw these things out, because what I'll do is I practice all the time, because I don't know if I'm going to be in a situation with a director, and when that opportunity happens and they say, we have no digital items there, I just need to be able to draw and communicate those ideas through my my work via paper and pen. And some of the conversations I've had with clients or on film projects, it's just great to sit down and all you're doing is talking film. You're finding analogies or things in common. I want to be like that Fincher film, you know. I want that look, or I want to have the pacing like a Guy Ritchie film, you know. I really like those sequences in the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes films, you know. It's like it all depends. Or if I'm, I want to be able to create my storyboard work in whatever format that works best for the director or the client that I'm working for. So the more tools you know, the better you are. But nothing beats a sketchbook and a pen, so go for it. Okay, and then Ronnie said, I'd love to see lives of you doing traditional storyboard. Yeah, sure. We'll continue. These are just the basic shots right now. We have to talk at another time about angles and camera movements, meaning like pans, tilts, zooms, and those type of things. But these are just the basics of right now, the basic shot. So let's continue on so we can finish this up. Okay, so the next shot we're going to be talking about is the extreme close-up. Now you're really zooming in on that particular character. Excuse me. So camera angles. Okay, so let's talk about that extreme close-up. So let's get that pen tool here. So we have that extreme close-up shot. And the extreme close-up shot is going to be like you want to just focus on a particular, it's usually the eyes that most directors are focused on, or the DP is focused on, is the eyes, but it might be the mouth, the nose, the ears. You can place the anywhere around the face, and that's sort of like if you're trying to push hearing or sight. It's usually sight. The character is looking at something intensely. And it doesn't necessarily need to be an extreme close-up of eyes. It could be an extreme close-up of an object of some sort. They're holding this item and you're trying to tell the story, and I have to have that beat of them looking at that cell phone device really close up because they got a message from a friend, or they're in peril and they're trying to get through, or they can't get dial tone or whatever, and you're extremely zooming in on this. Right now I've pretty much focused right now on the eyes. So all we're going to do is get those eyes going. That's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to focus on those eyes. Like, what's going on? What is that character thinking? There's something going on. That's all I'm looking at. I just want to see those eyes. I'm trying to communicate. what's going on. We go back to that showgirl analogy, you know, what's going on with the showgirl, what happened, you know, did she see somebody that that was an issue here? It's like, what are we doing? How is that working out? We don't know. Trying to figure it out. She's got all those feathers and everything on her. It's just it's a window into the soul with the, what we're trying to do. It's like, what's going on? We're just trying to tell those stories with this. Curiosity, what's going on, but that's what we're sort of focused on right now. Is we want our eyes to be focused on that character. What is she trying to tell us? You know, what is it? And it's like we want to be focused on. Oops. We want to be focused right there. That's where our eye is going. That's where we want to have that. Is she communicating? Is she flickering her eyes? There's so many different things that you can do this with this particular shot. Maybe it's on her mouth and she's saying those words, help me, or whatever it might be. So, but that's what we're sort of focused on with this particular shot and how we're doing it. Okay. So a couple other things here that we're going to talk about real quick. Zoom out, see what my notes. Oh, we were talking about too, about, whoops. What happened here? Okay. Other things that we could be talking about too. You know, we were talking about extreme close-ups, and they can communicate different things, like we were talking about. And like here, you might have an insert shot that is an extreme close-up of someone playing cards. So, you know, you have your cards here. And maybe there's a bet going down. The character is going to bet. And so this might be a time, with my notes here, this might be a time that he has his chips here where we want to, you know, on the table here, have communicate this shot here. And so this would be the time That way we could possibly do an extreme close-up, get a little bit of gray, show the table. Maybe he's looking at his cards, that particular character. And then he would go back to his eyes looking at that extreme close-up. A couple things that we'd be talking about too is we can do all, when you're talking about all these different shots, you always have your, we call that that extreme wide angle, or that, what did I say, the extreme wide shot or the wide shot would be our establishing shot. It's the establishing point of the scene. So when I'm looking at that particular, we were looking at the Las Vegas shot for the wide shot, the whole actually city of Las Vegas for the extreme wide shot. And when you're looking at this type of element, it establishes the environment that you're in. It's establishing where is this scene taking place, what's going on. Like I said before, what time of day, is it daytime, nighttime, what's geography, is it cold, hot, what's going on, is it raining? We can change all these different things in our boards. And then we want to go to our master shot. Our master shot is sort of that medium shot, you know. We want to establish who are all the characters that we'll be dealing with, because once you set up the establishing shot of where you're at, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to establish, like, where are all these people in the environment in terms of what you're doing with those medium shots, and that it's called the master shot. So if I have more than a few people, or if I'm looking at this, sequence here, I sort of see where all the showgirls are in relation to each other, and I sort of know what's going on. And so as a viewer, it helps you to storyboard. You know, it's like I have person 1 here, person 2 here, person 3 here, and maybe this character is the one that we're focusing on, but I know what they're in relation. She is in relationship to the other two dancers. So as I'm going on, you know, you're sort of setting those things up. And we could talk about staging and composition and blocking and those type of things. Would be the sort of the next conversation, is like, how do these 3 women fit together? Or if there's a third one or a fourth one over here, how do these all four together in this space of what we're doing? We know where the curtain is, we know where they're at. It's sort of looking at, if we're looking at a bird's eye view, where are each of those women located? So if you're looking at something like this, that shot is going to help to tell us where all these people are into relationship to each other via, if you're the camera and the filmmaker back here, you can sort of see where are they in relationship to the camera. This is a little extreme, the camera would be back a little bit, but you sort of got the idea of what I'm trying to say. It's like, okay, I see the girls here, and now I have the idea of where these number 1, number 2, and number 3 are. So like I said, so if this is, I didn't number them right, but if I'm back here looking at it, if this is number 1, number 2, 3, and 4, this person is where I'm focusing on with the camera, which would be this character right here, and this full shot there. You can get in a little bit closer, but it gives you an idea of your staging of where everybody is in the actual sequence. Okay, make sure we're good here. Move this back just a tad bit. Cool. Okay. So what we would do, another couple shots that I wanted to talk about real quick are over the shoulder shots. In terms of the story that we're telling here. So let's just say we were going to take this shot here and do an over the shoulder shot, that there's another character on leftist screen here. And that character, her shoulder, or her head would be here. Maybe that's her ear. She's got her feathers on too. And she's right here, and she's talking to that particular character here. And we would just drop her in the shadow real quick. And she's right here talking to her. You know, it's like blah, 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 blah. She's got the feathers too. And she's talking to her. And you could sort of say over the shoulder shot as she's talking to her. We can move that around a little bit if we need to. So it's that over the shoulder shot. And we could go back and forth in that particular order here too. That's what's going on there. And you can go back and forth with those shots. In terms of what we're talking about. So if we're looking at that over the shoulder shot, like I said, there's two characters. Let's get that back again. Two characters talking to each other. This one's talking to this one. There's both seeing eye to eye in terms of what we're doing, and this person is talking to this person. And we would set that shot up. Simple. So if the one showgirl is here having a conversation, she has the head cap up, she's got all the fancy feathers coming off of her. And she's talking to this other gal here, like we just said. Her shoulder might cut her off. And she's talking to her there. And then with things like this, then you can have some fun with it too. And you can have sort of a blur there, so you know the focus is on character. You know the focus is on her. Oops. Like I said, you know the character is on her. And this person's looking that way. And then you can reverse the shot the opposite direction to get that going. And you can do all different types of shots from there. You can do a extreme, cut-ins and different things like that within that. But we're going to leave that lesson to another date. I know it's starting to get late, and we've been going for quite a while, and we started a little bit later here. For me, it's about a little past 2 a.m., and so I think I'm going to call it on this particular session. I appreciate you joining me tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to subscribe to my new YouTube channel. Please do give it a like. Please do give it a comment. I want to get some feedback. We did a lot of drawing tonight, and within this last, I think, hour, just knocking out a lot of frames here in terms of what we're doing, teaching all these different shots of what we're trying to talk about, what we're trying to do here. But again, these are the basic shots that you'll need for any storyboard artist to know how to do. We went from an extreme, wide shot up into an extreme close shot to evoke different emotions, different senses. I look forward to our next time together. We'll either start getting deeper into camera angles, aspect ratios, camera movement, in terms of what we're trying to tell the story. These are all the basic fundamentals. So please get your sketchbook out, continue drawing, continue learning as much as you can. I'm always learning myself. It just doesn't end. There's always new artists that I like, and I try to use them to inspire myself to get going on new work and just keep going. But I look forward to seeing you in the next live stream. Hoping that we can get a little bit more regular with the live streams, and I'll try to still continue to go both in Instagram and here on YouTube, and have fun with it. Well, thank you so much for joining me. You have a fantastic evening, and I look forward to hearing back from all of you. Take care. Have a great